Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast. I'm just sorting the camera out whilst we're live, of course I'm online. And we're back, new season. Obviously did a watch along last night for the Arsenal game, first season, obviously being Arsenal channel and all that. We covered that. And then I'm back. I said I'll be back for tonight's first episode of the new season for the match of the day for the 22-23 season, which will obviously there will also highlights of the Arsenal game at some point, but also mainly the main thing I'll be covering is all today's games, and there's quite a lot of games, and then setting up the scoreboards behind the scenes, banners, quite a lot of goals. So there's no 0-0, so there's almost a 0-0, but we'll get into that later in one particular game when it gets shown. But yeah, obviously a bit of a one-shot result, with all due respect. We'll get into that as well. And yeah, second season we're doing this, and I'm looking forward to it. Well, what do you got, Russ, in the chat? Got Mr. Tom, the lead fan. I bet you're very happy, Tom. Mr. Tom. I called it as well. I actually did call it. There's an app over in the UK, Sky Sports Super 6. And you've got, they give you 6 games. You've got to guess predict the correct score, or try to at least. Anyway, I called it. I actually said Leeds would win 2-1. I said Leeds will win 2-1. I said Newcastle will win 2-0. I can prove it, by the way. I will get screenshots, so I can get receipts. Sadly, Southampton decided to go Pete Tong and this big crap. Big up Hayden's in the chat. We've got Colonel in the chat. He's stopped drinking. Yeah, it's Saturday. It's okay. It's a weekend. It's all good. As I say, this show's about to start, but I don't know what order, by the way, they're going to show the game. It probably will be them not first because they've got 4 fucking games. Have a wank over Tottenham. And then Fulham Liverpool, for obvious reasons, if you know, oh, Fulham's first. There you go. They surprised me there. Then it's them not. Newcastle v Forest. It's good to see Forest as a Premier League club back in the league, obviously, after all this time. They've got to change. I mean, 3 years. They're as lazy as fucking Sky. These opening titles. Jesus Christ. We've had the same opening title sequence for the last 3 years now. Give or take 3 different teams, obviously. Fucking mix it up a bit, change it a bit. Ratings all from Steve. Russ, it looks like Tom's a closet Arsenal fan. Now, to be fair, this isn't an Arsenal-only show. It is match today. Right. Oh, my God, what is he wearing? Jesus Christ, that is a... You ain't going to miss writing from my mind. I'll put it that way. Bright fluorescent pink. Right, fair. First game up is this one. I will be honest, I watched the second half. I didn't catch the first half. I watched the second half, though. And to say the scoreline flat at Liverpool, in my opinion, was an understatement. I've actually felt at the final whistle. I felt bad. I felt sorry for Fulham. Fulham were unlucky not to win, in my opinion, anyway. Stefan's in there. Good evening, Stefan. How did it? Honestly, I don't know the answer to this. How did Ipswich do today? Mr. Bungle's in the chat. How you doing, Mr. Bungle? You just caught us at the start of the stream. First game's up. By the way, Leno didn't. For anyone who doesn't know, Leno didn't play today. He was on the subs bench today. Alisson made a miraculous recovery from last week's injury scare. Back in time for the Premier League. Fucking Klopp pisses me off now. I'm sorry, Klopp does piss me off. I don't care what anyone says, he's a fucking wanker. When you look at this, obviously we know the scores on the thing and all that. We know how if anyone watched the game live and all that, they know how the game who performed better and etc. etc. So how bad was Man City last week for Liverpool to win as convincingly as they did in the end? So they come a week later. I know it's newly promoted team, full crowd and all that, but you can't tell me a team as a squad that is a title contender wise that is as established as Liverpool's team currently is, following that Nunes has just come in and all that. They shouldn't be going to. If you're going to win a title, they shouldn't. Day one or day 22 or whenever in the season, you should not be going to Fulham away and struggling the way they did today. In my opinion, anyway. Man City already must be looking at it thinking, fantastic. All we got to do is win and we're 2 points clear already. And as we know, Man City Liverpool, it is very tight margins. Here comes Fulham the attack. This is the first goal. There we go. Yeah, there we go. 1-0 Mitrovic. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, goalkeeping the defending was poor. You let the cross in. B, the defending itself was. Who's meant to be marking him? I don't know. And the goalkeeping as well. It was just piss poor around him. I don't care what anyone says. No one's watching Mitrovic. He's literally trotting into the box of his own accord. No one's looking at him. No one's got anywhere to see where he is. Trent's got his back to the action, and literally, Mitrovic just comes out of nowhere and goes, "Okay, thank you very much." Boom. Oh, shut up, Klopp. Go fucking get some whiteness or something with fucking dentures. Oh, with the post Diaz. Post? Oh yeah, just shot the crossbar, yeah. It is what it is, though. You just got to play along with it, the switch off and all that. Tom was asking Tom, do you feel Bielsa would still be your manager if he learned English similar to Unai Emery situation? The difference of Unai Emery and the Bielsa situation, Bielsa actually had a translator from day one. He insisted on a translator from day one, whereas Unai Emery didn't. We offered it, but we weren't insistent enough on it, and basically went, "No, I want to learn English my way," and all that crap, and it backfired, obviously. No, literally, that was a weird thing as well. Actually, when Bielsa's in charge, ooh, almost 2-0 there. No, I think that's what I was saying there. Yeah, it did throw me off with what's the name with Bielsa, because no matter what, Sky, BBC, and all that. When the game was over and done, you got the press conference before and afterwards, and he would come in, and he would literally sit there, listen to the question, turn to his interpreter, give the interpreter the answer in his mother tongue, and the interpreter then go and give the answer. This is like what? As I say, if he can speak fluent English, or not fluent, but like, if he can speak English and obviously understand it all, what? Look, it is what it is. He's gone now. See what happens in the future. He's currently just gone 1-1, by the way. Nunez with a little cheeky back heel. Little flick at the ball at the near post side. Big appeal. Nunez get good block from the defender again. Any Fulham fans that come across this stream, by the way, can you answer me this question in the comments below? How come your new stand, like the main part of it, had no fans in there today? I thought the whole stand was up and ready to go. Van Dijk doing what no one expects him to do and give away a penalty. Something Steve will never do. Right, do you know Arsene Wenger's role at Nice and Ramsey just joined there too? I thought Wenger's still working at FIFA. I didn't know he joined up with the new owners at Nice. Fair play to him. If that's the case, fair play. Good luck to them both at the end of the day. Didn't know that, no? Well, look at that. Sorry, got Steve Neffis in the chat. Yay, hates you for a while, Steve. How you doing, my friend? Oh my God, that was a poor goal to give away. And again, I know it's Liverpool and Nunez and Salah and all that crap. That's a poor goal to give away. Fulham are allegedly charging 700 quid. Kids. Charging kids 700 quid. Sitting loose. Fuck that. If that's the case, they can fuck right off. Let's take the piss. Good glad season's back. Yeah, same here. Especially after we won last night. But yeah, because the lower tier got the new stand lower tier. They had their fans in behind them. But the main part of the stand, the upper tier, empty. It's not even not a ghost town. Oh, dear. Yeah, Mr. Tom says, Klopp claimed, that's what I'm saying earlier, but he's just pissing me off now. I am getting sick to death of the excuses he comes up with. Even pre-season. In pre-season, he's complaining about fixture congestion. He played a handful of games. He played the same games as us. We don't see us complaining. But he's constantly complains about fixture congestion. He drops points today. Instead of blaming himself or tactically or his players for not turning up, it's their pitch was dry today. It was too dry to play our slick, attractive football. It's ridiculous. Just fucking own it. You got it wrong today. Fulham, you underestimated Fulham. They turned up, nothing to lose, and almost beat you. But no, and no one pulls. This is the thing with media. No one pulls him up on it either. The media side of things, they never pull him up on it. Yeah. Again, I know you call me biased or whatever, but when we lost, Wenger never. When we were losing under Wenger, even in our good times, when we were in league titles and all that, he never fucking go. He never went once, even in our glory days. The reason we dropped points, the pitch was too dry. No, he just fucking made other. He either make other excuses up, or he'd own it. He just said we got it wrong today, etc., etc. And we moved on. And then later on down the years, when teams start kicking the shit out, as we get protected, that was the next excuse. But we'll get to that another day. But as I say, Klopp constantly complains, and it's just like no one wants to call him out on it. Like in the media, fans do. Obviously, other than Liverpool fans, I can't speak for them, but I know for a fact, right? Obviously, non-Liverpool fans, myself and others, we're just sitting on group chats. We're like, this guy is on another fucking planet. He's got too big for his boots. He's an arrogant prick, etc., etc. And like Stefan says, I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem with the pitch. Doesn't look too dry to me. But I'm not obviously there, but still. Oh, he just under him and these players underestimated Fulham State. Even though that Clayton got his cottage, because of how Fulham have been in the last couple of years, up and down. When they've been in the Premier League previously, he's gone, well, we'll beat him anyway. We don't have to really get. We'll play second gear today, lads. We'll get the 3-4-0 anyway. And once he got, even at 1-0, he didn't think to change the tactics or anything. He brought Nunez on in the second half. And I think without Nunez, they don't get a result today. The next person that bangs a fucking door, I'm going to go round and punch the bastard because it's doing my head in. Getting woke up at 6:30 in the fucking morning because I'm going to go bang, bang, like literally banging doors. Fuck off. And now they're just doing it now, hence why I just complained. Ty Jurgen's an assistant. Jesus Christ. I haven't seen Fulham's pink kit, so I don't know. I can't say. I can't remember thoughts on that, but I'd rather that. At the end of the day, is anything's an improvement on what we had with Puma. Puma just again, you keep going on about it every time someone brings up kits. Like Puma, out of all the kits we've ever manufacturer-wise we've ever worn, Nike, Puma. In my last time I got it, Adidas twice now, Nike and Puma in between. Puma, hands down, was the worst kit manufacturing deal we'd ever done in terms of what they gave us for 3-4 years. They were uncomfortable. The designs are fucking awful, and the sizing was just weird. As I say, I'm a large, even now at this moment in time. I've got large men's Arsenal Nike shirt still that fit me. It's loose, all right? It's nice, it's loose, it's a bit baggy, but it could be baggy if I lost a bit more weight. Same with Adidas, yeah? Large. Again, same as Nike. I was about Nike there. Puma, men's large. It's skin tight to your arm. You like that. You feel like you're claustrophobic. It's all around your skin, glued to your skin. It's just unbearable. And the fucking designs are fucking horrible anyway. Oh, here we go. He's come for the wank fest of Tottenham. That's a training kit. That's a training polo shirt. I don't think that's is there a away kit though? Is there a away kit pink? Yeah, Tom, I've said this numerous times about kits. In the last, well, in 2014, when we, oh, the last time Arsenal had a kit, a home kit, away kit, whatever, that lasted more than one season was under Nike. The last kit that we did home kit wise, we did a Nike. It was a 2-season kit. The last home kit Nike did for us was for 2 seasons. The 12-13 to 13 end of the 13-14 season. That was the last time. Ever since then, it's always been one kit. They change it every 12 months. And even though I thought under it might change, no, it's kept going. It needs, but again, Brentford hit their home kit from last season. They carried over to this season. The new away kit this season is going to carry over to next season as well. Sorry, and the reason is because they feel the fans get more out of it. Because got to think the amount that they're charging nowadays as well is ridiculous. By the way, even for a replica, if you want the official what the players wear on a match day kit, turn this down. Thank you very much. It's £100 for that. For a replica, it's 70. So Brentford's idea is, no, we're going to do right by the fans for once. No one else, no one in that time frame has picked up on the and thought, you know what, we'll do that as well. Oh no, we're going to keep turning out free kits every year. Yeah, exactly, Russ, exactly. Yeah, I've seen your away kit. You've got, what was it? They announced it on, was it yesterday or Thursday? They announced that. I think it might be Thursday and made the announcement, and I was just like, what the fuck is that? Don't like it. Really, oh my god, what is that? 2-1 now? Oh, Slabhead has fucking made it 2-1. Fucking dire. Fucking Southampton are fucking awful. They go 1-0 up with a decent goal from Ward-Prowse. Why Ward-Prowse has committed himself to Southampton, I'll never know. Why no one goes in for Ward-Prowse, I don't know. He's a quality player. He's better than what he's currently surrounded by, put it that way. But as I say, Southampton go 1-0 up, got pegged back to 1-1, and they're falling apart. They got pegged back to 1-1 within 10 minutes of going 1-0 up or something like that. And they're falling apart. Every time like that lot are attacking them, they're like Bambi on ice when it comes to defending. I mean, what was that from Romeo? Jesus. Oh dear. Stefan, I've got some Metro shirts with either for no sponsorship, no nonsense. Yeah. Remember, a couple of years ago, a few clubs got done a deal with Paddy Power, like shirt sponsorship. Did a shirt sponsorship with Paddy Power for a couple of years, but the deal was, even though they were to be the team shirt sponsor, they wouldn't have put their sponsor on the shirt for that reason, and they made an advert about it and all that. And fucking, there was a big kickoff over it, because obviously teams, and then before it was put out there, when they initially announced that these teams initially announced they're doing these like teaming up with Paddy Power, they basically took the piss, and they was like, brand new kit, brand new sponsor, and obviously had massive Paddy Power logo going down the shirt and all across the shirt or whatever. So all the fans and everyone thinking, what the fuck? Coming out a couple of days later in pre-season. Actually, no. This is the shirt. No sponsorship, no nothing. Then obviously adverts came out from Paddy Power. And it was like, oh, because of we want football to be like it used to be. No sponsors, a walking billboard, this, that, and the other. And I thought it was, in terms of marketing, a very smart marketing. What the fuck was that? How is it the player's facing away from the goal, kicks the ball into his own net? Watch this again. Yeah, he's looking up. He's away from the goal. The ball's come towards him. He's hit. And he's hit across himself and it's gone round into the net. The fuck, mate! I've said it during pre-season to a few people I know. For me, in terms of my relegation fee, I've said Bournemouth will go down, Southampton will go down. I think Everton will. This is before the season started. After what I'm seeing here, 100% Southampton are going down. They have been flirting for the last 2-3 years. They start off well, or have a bit of a bad start and then end the season well, or whatever. Mainly they start off well and then fall apart. Now it's just so comfortable saying, no, you're going to have a good start, you're going to get battered. And so, I think Conan on Twitter made a good point actually. Conan, he sometimes comes on here. Why is it with Southampton that, with what I've just said, but them being so inconsistent and so poor, how is it Hasenhüttl doesn't get pulled up? I mean, by anyone. No, I know what you're on about. Talking about the way it was gone across, as you say. It was a mock advert, basically. It was a mock promoting their new kit, mocking up as a mock up, promoting their new kit, and it's a part of the promo for their deal with Paddy Power was to have that, and for people in the league to think, oh my god, that's too far, you're taking the piss, da da da. And the league obviously want you to think that they banned it, but they weren't just Huddersfield. Huddersfield, the main one, could have just been relegated. They're the main ones that did the deal with, but there's others as well. But it literally, the day that the kits were then released for the rest of the teams, they Huddersfield onwards, they on the day released an advert themselves and saying, basically, we don't think fans should be a walking billboard and have fucking sponsorships on the front, back, and everything else. So for the teams we sponsored this season, you won't have that embarrassment. Literally, you buy a shirt, you won't have to worry about seeing our name on your shirt. Basically, I find the advert sometime and we'll go through on the stream one day. I don't know. Yeah, it's a promo thing that it's a promo thing that backfired, Tom. I think it did backfire because obviously people would think they're being serious, but yeah, the adverts came out afterwards, and it's just, I don't know, but either way. Well, I think Forest ain't got a sponsorship, have they? No, Nottingham Forest. On their shirts this season, they've got no sponsor. They had Boxed Boiler, as in the Boiler Company, as a shirt sponsor last year, but it seems to have come up and they've got no shirt sponsor. Imagine that Barcelona shirt sponsors for the next 10 years. Pucker pies. That might upset the locals, but you never know. Saints happy to stay. I get what you're saying in terms of the ownership and all that. It seems like they're happy just to be a part of the furniture, but we've seen it time and time again over the last 30 years. Teams that go down that route, eventually that model falls. They get too cocksure of themselves. It all falls apart. And they eventually we saw it at Sunderland. They did what Southampton have been doing for the last few years. Flirted a bit of relegation, survived every now and then, finished around 15th on like 15th to 16th in that sort of area, and eventually it caught up with them. Charlton out of nowhere just went boom. I don't think now. Who's the other one that's just gone? No, I think was it Norwich as well. Norwich, about Norwich. I'm trying to think about 10 years ago. It came up and they spent about three full seasons in a full season in the Premier League. I think after the first season they got too comfortable. They thought, "Oh, everything's okay now. We've survived 3 years. We're good now. We're part of the furniture. We won't be affected. We'll do the bare minimum basically." It backfired straight away. And look how long it took them to come back up. And now they're up, down, and then I think they lost the first 2 games of the season in the Championship. I think Stefan can confirm that in the chat. Obviously, he'd have more idea than me. Or did they draw today? I can't remember. But they lost to Cardiff last week. They were losing to Wigan today. I know that much. I don't know what the full-time score was. Middlesbrough as well. Middlesbrough, they did the exact same thing. Came up, stayed in for a few years, got too comfortable. Everyone thought they'll be fine. They'll never go down, and then it went. They've been up once since, and they got relegated straight away, and then they're back being part of the furniture at the Championship. And I honestly believe Southampton will go down this season, even if they do sack Hasenhüttl in the next few weeks. I honestly do believe they're gone, because even if they sack him, the owners won't get the right person in to keep him up, and they'll be gone. And they'll be again like the ones that have gone down this season. Once they're gone, they won't come up for a couple, 2-3 years if they're lucky. Here we go. Next game's come up anyway. We managed to get through that Tottenham game without having to talk about it. Thank fuck for that. 23 years and they're back in the Prem. Oh, Nottingham Forest. It's got me. It's a bit weird seeing Forest as a Premier League club after 23 years. I was a kid when they were last up. No, exactly, Russ. I have no idea myself. The guy gets whipped 9-0 against Leicester a couple of years ago. Goes on a little run, everything's forgotten. Steve says, actually, that's very poor from Southampton. Tactically, they were so open. They were all over the place. It started off well, went 1-0 up, and then the second went 1-1. They just went open sesame and just fell apart. But every time Tottenham attacked, it was like Bambi and Ice, Southampton defending. Russ is saying, I read the other day that Leicester spend more on wages against their turnover than any other club in the Premier League. No wonder they haven't signed anyone. I think they. But the fact that we've known for a year now, Tielemans wants out. We've known for 6 months he wants to come to us. Once we announced our interest, he wanted to come to us. You've got Newcastle, who are on now. They're looking to try and get Maddison off their hands as well. You've got Fofana as well. Looks like he's looking for a new club as well. They've just lost. sorry about that. I'm saying they just lost Casper Schmeichel as well. I think I think this season is going to be a worse season for Leicester than it was last year. And I do another sort of out there prediction. I think Brendan Rodgers will be sacked before Christmas. He'll be gone before Christmas, in my opinion. Because I can't see them getting off to a good start. Put it that way. As I say, all the players they want, all these players that want out, big players as well. They're not in Europe either. But I've also, just to put on to what I said, sorry, just to finish off what I was going quiet there. To finish off what Russ said there, add on to what Russ said, sorry. I think the owners, when they brought in Brendan Rodgers, they put, as you say, they invested so much in wages and either keeping players or bringing players in. But it's not just that. In general, the investment they've put into this since Brendan came in a few years back, and that the only thing they've, apart from qualifying for Europa, just missing out on Champions League for two of the last 3 years. I can't think now. This is his fourth straight season. This will be his fourth full season if he sees it out. If he sees it out. In 3 full seasons he's been in charge, because he came in halfway through the one season. He's been there 3.5 years, as it stands. He's in his first 2 full seasons, he finished 5th respectively. Final day was 4th, bottled it both times. It ended up 5th. Other than that, all they've got in reward for that is an FA Cup as well. Again, not having a dig at the FA Cup or nothing. It's just that my point is they've invested so much and all they've got out of it. And the reason they invested so much was to get back into Champions League and compete alongside the Liverpools, the Cities, etc. for like getting into Champions League, but possibly the occasional title charge. Oh, what's a goal that was? Jesus Christ, who was that? The defender scored. Bloody hell, that's a good goal actually. Crack of a goal. That's space of the head though. Jesus, look. Boom, boom, boom. No one goes near. No forwards play. That's poor defending. Let's be honest. Jesse Lingard runs towards him and then runs behind him. Bloody hell. So as I was saying, yeah, the reason they've invested so much is because they wanted to get back to making sure that the 2016 title win wasn't a one-off. That they'd try and get at least another title under their belt, along with Champions League qualification on a consistent basis, becoming part of the furniture there, and winning FA Cups and League Cups. And all they've got to show for it is qualify 2 bottle jobs in these first 2 seasons, in going to the last day 4th, both times finishing 5th by end of full time. And an FA Cup, and then last year a complete capitulation where they couldn't even win Europa League, for fuck's sake. And as I say, I think financially everything's come home to roost, and I think also I think another reason why they haven't invested even, not just for that reason, but another reason to sort of coincide with it, is because I think the owners will give up. I think the owners have given up faith in him. Doesn't have the faith in Brendan anymore, and just basically, oh my God, that's a good goal. That was a good finish from Callum Wilson there. But yeah, that's another reason why I think he'll be gone before Christmas. Because I honestly don't think the owners want him there. But instead of sacking him and paying him out, at the time. They're just not backed him in the transfer market and going to drag it out until they can pay him less than what they would do now, basically. Zonal marking for the Forest defenders with no other Newcastle players inside. What the fuck? Yeah, exactly. As I said, that first goal, good goal, don't get me wrong. But when Shaw picks up that ball, Jesse Lingard's going running towards him, and it just continues to run in our direction where Shaw's has gone run forward, and Jesse Lingard's then behind him when I was in line at the time. Instead of going in that direct path with the player, he's just gone run behind him. Like, what the? And not just him then, but also the other players are just standing there, just like no one went there to try and put the pressure on to get a pass off and make an error or block the shot. And yeah, let's say it's a good goal, don't get me wrong, but yeah, that was just bizarre. That was Jesus. Next up, Bournemouth v Villa, apparently. Oh dear. Okay, I'm glad good. I'm glad Leicester are suffering. To sack a manager that guides you to a league title and somebody who built the Chelsea side decide on signings in 2005 was a disgrace. Because players won, as I say, going back to that 15-16 team, when they won the Leicester team that won the title, they won a title. They won that title against all the odds, and they thought they're fucking bigger than their egos just came racing to the surface, and they thought they were bigger and better than anyone else. And then had that mentality that we've seen with Chelsea over the years, where they thought, "Well, thanks, boss, but we think we're better than you now. We need someone else in to sort of take us to another level. We don't think you're good enough anymore." And completely threw the guy that not just made their careers, but gave him a Premier League winning title medal, and made them legends at Leicester City against all the odds, and Premier League legends as well. And they just threw him under the bus from day one as well. Premier League champions Premier League champions who've gone to home and lost. You just knew what was coming then. And the thing is, they're doing that in the Premier League, but Champions League, they're turning up that season, the 16-17 season, they were defending champions in the league. They're playing piss poor in the league, but Champions League, they do pretty well, actually. I think they got to their quarterfinals. Again, so got through the group stages nice and easily. I think he managed the first knockout round, got him through that. And then next thing you know, he's sacked, and then they go on for another round or two. And quarterfinals I think they got to. It's like Atletico Madrid knocked him out by a goal, but William Shakespeare took over. We all know why that happened, but yeah. Stefan saying, glad to see Forest back. They were a great side years ago. Yeah, of course. Again, aside from obviously wanting to see Arsenal last night and the excitement now as an Arsenal fan for the league to be back. As a neutral, I was looking forward to the season again just to see Forest as a Premier League club again and see how they do, see if they can sort of adapt to what the Premier League is all about and maybe put up a fight and stay up this season. Steve F, when are we going to be? I think because we played last night, will be the last game shown. I believe anyway. Just because we played this last night. Otherwise, if we play today, then Chelsea will be last, and we'll be on now basically. If I remember correctly, they sacked Ranieri after they lost their first leg tie in the Champions League second round. Honestly, I can't remember how long ago. I can't. It's been that long though, but it's just the guy got. I think either way, no matter what, the guy got them there, and suddenly there's this divine right there. Right. It wasn't even like they're out potentially out the tie either. After that, it's still like one goal in it. So he could have personally he could have turned it around and gotten to the quarterfinals anyway. But we'll never know that. But it's just like for me, it's just it left a bit of taste in my mouth as a neutral. Like after what he done for the club, for them players 12 months prior, turning them from literally like that from relegation for a relegation favourite team, the team that red hot favourites got relegated basically. In that season, they won the title. They were red hot favourites to get relegated, and he won them the title and got them into Champions League. And it was like, we don't want it to end. We don't want it to end. So sack. And because of how poor the players have been playing in the league, it was just like, oh well, not a second thought basically. But it is okay, it's what it is. I don't agree with the sacking, but they could have got relegated if they had not sacked him. But that's on the players then, because you got as a manager, you can't praise him 12 months prior, sing his praises 12 months prior, winning the league title against all the odds with that same team, and then the same players then 1-0 Bournemouth. There we go, and then literally just decide, no, that's it. I'm sort of done. We're gonna be on the beach. We're on the beach now for the next 12 months, and then take it out on one person, but held the players to like as heroes still. I get what you're saying. They could have been. They could have done. I don't think they wouldn't have been relegated. I don't think even if they had kept with Ranieri a bit longer, or at least until the end of the season, and let him go on mutual terms. I still think there's worse teams in that league, even in the form that they're in. They would have just about survived basically around the mid table. But it is what it is. It is, as I say, it is what it is. And Shakespeare came along, got a few months in the job, got sacked himself. Then was it Claude Puel? He got a year, but just over a year in the job, and then got sacked. And then Brendan came along. As I say, I think with everything the owners and the owner is one sec. Villa all over the place in this game. So again, it's hard at form. I keep saying this every time we do this match of day streams. But I think I think Villa will be found out this season. Gerald will be found out tactically very very early on. But I think with the owner, that Nesta, sorry, I keep saying it, but I think because of how much he's invested in this manager over the last 3 to 4 years, I think with how bad they fell off last year, I think the owners have completely lost faith in him, and that's why they haven't. That's another part of the reason why they haven't bought no one. So it makes it easier for him to go, well, even though I didn't give you new players, there's no excuse for you. You've done this, you've done that. You want us in the FA Cup. I still expect higher. I still expect more of you, basically, and just make it easier for him to go. Bye bye, boom. As I said it. I keep saying it. I think Brendan Rodgers will be gone before Christmas. Possibly during the World Cup, he'll be sacked. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but that's the players. That's down to the players. You can't go from winning a title and go. It was literally like the players, as I said, the egos came racing to the surface, and they didn't fancy Ranieri no more. So they thought, you know what? Until you're gone, we ain't gonna bother, boss. I mean, you gave us legendary status on every level. You've given us something no one else would have given us, but fuck you, Claudio. Oh, Champions League night. I'll shout for Champions League night. Back in the Premier League days. Oh, we're shit. Oh, well. And that's just, and that for me has never. Schmeichel, even though he's retired now, the Morgans, the Vardys of this world, all Brightons, etc. The ones, Christian Fuchs, or whatever you pronounce his name. All them players that down tools basically from day one are defending the league, as defending league champions. I lost all respect for them. All the respect I had for them as a neutral fan the previous year went out the window. Oh dear. Oh, there you go, 2-0. Was that Kiefer Moore? Bloody hell. Good ever. You know what? He's someone. I was talking about having a target man. A target man, big physical player that's good aerial play. I'm not saying go and get him, Arsenal, but that's what I mean in terms of a Plan B player, basically. An aerial threat. Again, you know what? Even again, I still think Bournemouth will go down this season. Over the course of the next 37 games, they'll be gone. But then again, I know it's highlight form, but Bournemouth are the better team today. Villa were just piss poor. They were as poor as they were this time, basically last season, at the start of last season when Dean Smith was in charge. As I said as well, I think Joe will be found out this season. He looked well, a lot quicker than people expect. I think he could be gone as well before Christmas. But sure, times his chances of the Liverpool job and cop steps down at some point. I know, Stefan. I know they do, but you look back at that season, even in as you say, when we say look back, you've got to be in highlight form. Even when you look back in highlight form, you can tell from day one they weren't really giving their all, so to say. Apart from Champions League nights. Steve F is saying it's weird we haven't pulled the trigger for Tielemans. What do you guys reckon? I've already said it. I wouldn't be surprised if once the fixtures came out and they'd be messing about, we just want, you know what, we'll put it in the back burner for now, and we'll wait until now. And between now and next Saturday, I wouldn't be surprised if we go in and put in the bid to get things up and running, going like fully, like the money they've been asking for. We make that off. We offer it to them, say Tuesday, Wednesday, for example. I would not be surprised if we did that, just to, even if the deal isn't done fully by the game time, in time for when the game comes along on Saturday afternoon next week. It's still obviously it weakens Leicester because either we get the deal done and put the offer on the table and get it all done and dusted Tuesday, Wednesday, and get him over medical paperwork, personal terms, etc., done and dusted, and take him off. Obviously, he's off Leicester's books on our books. Even if he can't play on, but it still weakens Leicester. I would not be surprised if we do that just out of spite now. I do reckon either way. Even if we don't do that, I'm just saying hypothetically, if we did do that, I wouldn't be surprised. With the window not closing until the end of the month, I do believe. I still believe so. We will sign Tielemans before the window closes. Because what was it Arteta said last night in Sky as well? We was asked a question. Yeah, we're looking at a few things, not one or two, a player or a couple of things or whatever, a few things, and we're trying to get things done ASAP. And I think the fact he barely touched he barely touched his subs, and when he did touch it, he left it a long time for Arteta and Arteta's standards who make these subs. I think that was a sort of a message to the Gronkies to say, please guys, I need a bit more. Just a couple more, 2-3 more players I need in, because he can't. I don't think. Wolves Leeds games on. Sorry, Tom. I'll get to that in a sec. But Wolves have just got one up. I don't think he'll be bothered about that yet. But yeah, I think that's more of a statement last night. The fact he held out as long as he could before making his subs. And if you look at the subs, it was like Nketiah for Jesus. Who else came on? I think Odegaard went off at the end as well for the Lokonga. And there's a third one. I can't remember who the second sub was. Was it? Oh, Tierney. Tierney came on for Zinchenko. Look at the subs that was on that bench he didn't use. He could have used, but he didn't. Because he doesn't trust them. In my opinion. Let's change the scoreboard for a second. Bear with me. And as Sam says, he's probably having a little wee of excitement. But Sam's in the chat. How you doing, Sam? Hope you're keeping well, my friend, and hope you enjoyed what you saw the game last night in terms of result wise. Yeah, we started off well, and even though we did drop off for majority of the game after the first 20 minutes until that last 10, we still dug deep. We kept the clean sheet as a whole. And even though they had, look, I watched it. I've said this before in the group chat. I watched it back, the Arsenal game, like properly, the full game. And yeah, they had, apart from 2 or 3 chances over the course of the 90 minutes. Like, when I say chances, I mean 2 or 3 clear-cut chances they had over 90 minutes. They didn't really do anything, Palace. But back to this. Obviously, there was an incident. The Wolves keeper basically whacked the Leeds player in the back of the head of his elbow like that. Whipped the VAR for a penalty check and waved play on, basically. I'm not just saying this because Tom's in the chat, by the way, but I do want Leeds to do well this season. I don't want to see, as a neutral. Oh, that's a good goal. That's poor goalkeeping, by the way. Rodrigo with the goal, the equaliser. That was poor defending, but when the shot's been taken off, it's got the keeper's near post, put it that, and it's poor goalkeeping, in my opinion. Doesn't get down, considering the angle. And I was just seeing the replay. Oh my god, that is disgusting. The goalkeeper, what has he done? Considering the angle as well, he should have got down to that. Doesn't get down quick enough. When even though he has got down, he sort of hits off his knee. Oh my god, what's he doing? Oh my god! He almost done a Petr check and passed it into his own goal. Walked it into his own goal, actually. Jesus Christ! I think Wolves are another team. I think they're going to underachieve compared to the usual standards that people have come accustomed to before under Nuno Espirito Santo. I mean, they had a good season last year, don't get me wrong, better than what they had under the previous season, in the last ever season with Nuno. It's an improvement, but I think they will tail off now, in my opinion, this season. But I think because this is pretty much still Nuno's squad as a whole, I do think the manager will be given the season and basically more time to get his own players in. Yeah, exactly, Sam. Trying to that's there's so many. Oh my! You went when you went online last. If you go online last night after the game, again the majority positive, happy, fantastic, nothing to piss me off. But there's always the odd person that wants to that goes out their way to piss me off, and it's obviously they don't know to piss me off, but it's just like they want to moan. It's like people just want to moan for the sake of moaning. Well, we played really bad. We didn't. We wasn't consistently good for the entire game. We're going to have games like that, boys and girls, ladies and gents. We're going to have them sort of games. What's important is we dug deep in that first time we've done it this season. First match day one as well, away from home, at a ground that's a good goal, 2-1. Good team goal. Bamford with the assist as well. Fuck me. One of the new signings looks like he scored. Can't guess his name by the way, but it is what it is. Just on side for Bamford as well. As I say, as I was saying, basic about our performance. Yeah, it's away from home against a team and at a ground we famously, and not for the not the good way, struggled against since they've been promoted to the Premier League. I think like up till last night, I think he's only got one. I think had one or two wins before last night at Selhurst Park since they've been re-promoted. Other than that, it's been either 1-1 draws or 2-2 draws or the infamous, was it 3-0 last year? The infamous Sam Allardyce battering we got for the 3 or 4-1 or something like that. Something ridiculous under Wenger. So for us to go there, start off well, don't get me wrong, we were a fantastic start for us. We went 1-0 up. And as the game grew and they grew into the game and players themselves, we still limited them. As I say, apart from 2 or 3 chances over the course of 90 minutes, Palace again, watch it back. Palace only had over the course, in my opinion, of 90 minutes, 2 to 3 chances to score. And people were complaining. Like they had a lot of the ball, maybe, but they're a home team, etc., etc. It's a Patrick Vieira team as well. Look at the job that Patrick's done in the last just over a year now. But as I say, we dug deep as a team. We dug deep, got the win, and a clean sheet. At a place we keep saying we've notoriously struggled with at Elat. And people were finding one game. There's 37 in terms of the league. There's 37 more games to go. We're currently second in the league. Don't say who's first. I'll hurt anyone that says that. If anyone says who's first, I'll personally hunt you down. But yeah, with all jokes aside, we won one game, one win compared to last year. Went to Brentford. COVID injuries aside, we weren't prepared as a whole, and we got found out. A year later, we've gone away from home. Friday night, under lights, upset Sky and all the broadcasters because they wanted us to lose. Let's be honest. That's why they picked us first to open the season again because of what happened last year. And as I say, we got the result and upset the broadcasters and everyone else in the meantime. Apart from that, I'm trying to think now. We've got a good start as well. This is another thing. We've got 4 more games before we play, in my opinion, a rival. Literally, we've got. I'm trying to think now. We've got Leicester next on the Emirates on Saturday. You forgot that. There's a brain moment there. Leicester next. We've got Bournemouth the week after. We've then got Fulham at the Emirates and Villa back literally in days of each other. and then we've got United as our sixth game. I think they're all winnable games. I'll be, in terms of going into that Man United game away from home. If we're not going into that game with 100% of our worth of our points going into that game, I'll be concerned. BBC has just had a nightmare. It's Aston Villa versus Chelsea apparently. They're obviously saying Everton versus Chelsea's next up, but it's come up. Lampard, Tuchel, Chelsea badge, Aston Villa badge. Well done, BBC, yeah, idiots. I started watching YouTube footy shows in lockdown. Oh, that's cool. Kept you obviously. I'm assuming it kept you occupied and not bored, basically. Instead of what would you rather? I think you'd rather do that than look around staring at four wolves in these 5 to 6 months. Oh dear. What I did is fucking at the end of my content on this channel. That's what I did. Nobody else to do. Couldn't go out, could we, at the time? Colonel, for fuck's sake, someone put Chelsea on the TV at the pub. Are you actually, Colonel? Are you actually out? Do you mean early on? Everton did. Steve F saying Everton did better than expected. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I'll watch the game. I'll be honest. This game in particular, obviously, I watched the entire game. I was relieved when the final time was. How can I put this? If without giving anything away for anyone that hasn't seen the game hasn't seen the game or anything, if the goal if what happens that leads to the goal doesn't happen, this is a poor 0-0 draw. No. Why are you at a pub? Yeah, on here watching. I'm not complaining in one sense because obviously you're in here having a chat with us and having a bit of a laugh, keep you company somewhat. But at least you're now doing you're taking part in the actual stream in terms of actually part of the Watchalong. No, not really impressed by Chelsea. No, Chelsea were fucking awful. They need a striker. They desperately need a striker. Or if they don't get a striker, I mean, when I say striker, I mean a clinical striker, they are going to struggle this year. Massively. I'm not complaining, obviously, as an Arsenal fan, but still. I will not be watching fucking the Chelsea game live ever again this season, apart from Arsenal v Chelsea, obviously. Put it that way. No, they were fucking poor. And for Everton, though, for me, Everton were the better team. As poor as the game was, quality-wise, Everton were the better team. But like Chelsea, they need a striker. They need someone to put that final, get on the end of the ball and put that ball in the net. And they haven't got that. Because obviously the one person they do have still gets fucking injured 2 days before the season starts. Oh dear. So they've got to go out and get a striker now. If Everton can get a clinical striker themselves, they'll be fine. They should be fine, touch wood. But yeah, apart from that, I think Everton are hard done by today. Obviously, if we're being honest, as poor as the game was, they had all the ball and the better chances. It was just they don't have someone to put the ball in net, basically. Steve, you mentioned in the chat he was in Orlando, so fair play to you. Obviously, he was able to get tickets for the game there as well. Then, obviously, he saw us beat Chelsea 4-0 in Orlando. Mate, at least use in that case, because of the time frame, you put adjusted and awake to watch the game. I did the stream with Gary and Tony and all that, and in the end I was struggling, but I pulled through. I managed to get through the latest of obviously us in the UK, what time it was. Get through the stream basically, and just enjoy the game and obviously have a bit of a laugh with Gary and Tony and you guys in the chat that came along for that game. But yeah, but aside from that, I'll say that, but still, I don't know how I managed to function in that for the rest of the day afterwards. Because I obviously went to bed, didn't go to sleep because the game finished at 3:30 in the morning. So I didn't get to sleep till just after 4. And I was time to get up, so I went to sleep about 5 hours late, 5.5 hours late. I get woken up. Yay me! And somehow I managed to pull through it. I was fine until about 3-4, and it really hit. I was like, okay, I'm going to bed. I'm back to bed. Fuck off. But thankfully, it was the day off the next day, so I was just like, yeah, thank God for that. Got Troy in the chat. Troy's joining us. How you doing, Troy? Yeah, I heard that Arsenal got a bigger following out there than what Chelsea got, basically, for that game. In general, the following for Arsenal in Orlando and Baltimore was a whole new level, basically. We got to be on soon, surely. This is ridiculous now. I think we've gone through all the games now. I think this must have been the last game from today they've shown. It's got to be. Oh, for God's sake. You guys have a weird conversation, everything all from PCs, and they were. Another conversation you're having in this chat is you've gone off the scale. That's all I'm saying. Taunton from Twitch is asking, to be a football fan these days, do you have to get both BT and Sky Sports? You don't have to. Personally, you don't have to. If you want to get one of the two or neither, that's fine. You don't have. You don't have to. There are other means and ways of being able to get hold of games. Sorry, get hold of games in the UK and watch and support your team. You don't have to pay extortionate rates, so to say. Well, we're on now, yay! What's that? Yay! Why do you ask? Out of interest, mate. Why do you ask that? Have you been told that's the case? Because it's not for me. In my opinion, that's not the case. Yeah, it is. It's just for them to subscriptions alone. It's ridiculously expensive. Not including all the little add-ons here, there, and everywhere. So no, if anyone says you have to have both one or the other or both to be a real football fan of your team or in general. No, it isn't the case at all. Trust me. Steve F. Away Sport was amazing. Away Sport, even before COVID and all that. Second, in my opinion, it's the best in the league, hands down. It's our home, our regular the home match days that have been a bit of a we're having to get sort of fight to bring them to the same level. We're getting there slowly, but we are getting there. Email. There we go. Jesus is on fire. Sorry, guys, just one sec. Oh, here we go. Goal's coming. Nick Martinelli. Of course you showed that, yeah, of course you did. No, of course, exactly, Steve. Of course I don't. It's the BBC, it's the media. What do you expect? Let's be honest. Yeah, I mean that's something they've got to coach. They've got to coach out of him and quickly because, as you say, there was a chance in the first 5 minutes he should have buried. And I said in the stream, Sam, if he puts his aces through, that's 1-0 there and then. But he tried passing it. In fact, he tried to pass it into the net. It's like obviously backfired, didn't he? So, but he got 20. What was he? 21, 22. So that's something this season. It's the season to coach. The last season really can sort of coach that side of things out of him, improve that side of his game. What another guys, mate! I was screaming. Me and Liam were screaming, and Gary was just like frustrated and kept his screaming inside basically. But no, it was like Jesus set him up perfectly. I mean, perfectly on a plate, and he just went. It was like, and I said in the stream last night, it was like in that moment watching Mesut Ozil with him years ago, in a similar situation, he'd be put through and goal, and literally all he do is put a shot through it and score, and you'd literally go, "No, actually, I'll pass it." He'd go, oh. Just puts his again. If he puts his foot through that, that's 2-0 there. Ramsdale had a decent game overall. He had as I say, two dodgy moments in over 90 minutes. again, something where the coaches can bring to one side tomorrow Monday morning in training, and basically get him on. Get his brain fucking working, basically, in terms of what he said on Ben Foster's podcast. I like to keep myself thinking. If I switch off, if I don't keep myself my brain active, I switch off. Well, find ways of keeping your brain active, then, mate, because otherwise you could have cost. Eventually, that's the mistakes he made, them errors he made last night will come up and bite us on the arse. But yeah, overall, we didn't. Apart from maybe two incidences over the game, he didn't set the foot wrong. He kept us in the game as well. He stopped them put the ball in the fucking net when needed. Here comes Saka's assist. I assume it goes down and say assist because there's an Ogie. Oi, oi, oi. I was just so relieved when that goal went. I was like, because it was like the 84th, 85th minute, give or take. It was in the last 10 minutes basically. It's just like, okay, I can sort of I can enjoy the last knockers of this game now and not have to stress the 85th. And not have to stress about him, get all aggy and this, that, and the other, going to extra time and all that. Well, there's Ty. I suddenly have to visit Rwanda. Oh, don't get Sam started on that. Fuck me, Jesus Christ. We'll be all fucking day on that one. Yeah, don't mention Visit Rwanda or the Arsenal marble kit that we did a couple of years ago. If anyone doesn't know what I'm on about, the white kit, the white shirt with like purple veiny, meant to be a marble effect. Purple veiny stuff going through the shirt, around all over the shirt. But it's meant to be like a marble kit to represent the marble halls of Arsenal. And when you look at it, we don't know what they're aiming for. And you looked at that and you saw the Visit Rwanda, Sam being Sam. Well, you can imagine. The Freddy Krueger kit, that's no one. The Halloween special kit, yeah. I think even I said at the time, literally, the kit was almost like you're all set. Even if you're not an Arsenal fan, you're all set for Halloween. All you got to do is buy that Arsenal shirt and and basic trousers and all that to match, and a mask, and you're fucking set. Oh dear, it is what it is, though. Oh God. I'm happy again. I keep saying that's just as frustrating as it was to watch live, because obviously you don't want to see your team all the time playing that. But again, it's the first game of the season. It's cool. It's away from home. I did say it just near the end of the stream. I think it was more so down to certain players that are here last year for the Brentford game and all that, thinking we don't want to throw this. They don't want to overcommit and obviously get caught out and throw this away. So it's all about protect what we got, protect the 1-0 lead, protect the 1-0 lead, and eventually we'll get on the counter. And obviously we did. But yeah, I think another home games we'll see more fluid. It's sort of get at home, majority of the time at home and away, depending on our position. But in terms of our home form, aside from maybe when Liverpool and the likes of Liverpool and City come to visit this season, we're going to see a more of an Arsenal that we saw for the first 20-25 minutes of last night's game. In your face, tackling football, constantly making making chances, creating chances, causing a threat, and we could have it basically. Stefan's asking what happened to the traditional yellow and blue kit. I think nowadays it's more. It used to be occasionally you'd get majority of the time you'd have from an Arsenal perspective you get your yellow and blue kits as the away kit. But I think as time has gone on, these ones like Nike, Puma fucking is a Puma, Jesus Christ. I think they have one yellow kit and a Puma. But yeah, I think I'm trying to think now. And yeah, in the last few years of Nike going forward into Puma and all that, but it just seems like the manufacturers wanted to mix things up, even though they had the alternative kit, they had the third kit, the alternative kit, as an option to use to go and do their own thing. They wanted to do it with the away kit as well, and not just Arsenal, other clubs as well have allowed that to happen. And it's sort of gone away from, let's say, the traditional away colours of respective teams, in my case, yellow and blue. I've been saying for God knows how long, look, the home kit's red and white. Traditionally, the away kit is yellow and blue. You've got a third shirt, mess about with that, but keep things just colour wise to tradition. But they don't. It just seems like they want to they want to experiment on the away kit and the alternative kit. And occasionally we'll get a traditional yellow and blue kit. But yeah, it is what it is. That's a whole nother show, by the way. Jesus Christ. Oh dear. Ian likes Cheeky Smile, so good. Yeah. Needs to have a word of who getting that fucking top, by the way, because that is a proper Larry top. Mitrovic was cut last time for them winning. Now it looks like I think he's had a. What was it? I think under Marco Silva, under Fulham, I think Marco Silva's used last season in the Championship to shove a rocket up bloody Mitrovic's arse, basically, and continue to do that during the summer to fucking keep him going for this, for obviously today and all that, and hopefully next for the rest of the season from Fulham's perspective. But yeah. White is sacrilege, yep. They had a white kit in the 90s. Well, Arsenal? I think, did we? I'm trying to think, no, did we had I'm trying to think now. End of the 80s, 90s, we had that kit. Then we went on to the Bruceman, and then we went on to, was it the Bruceman armour after that? And then we went for then we had that blue away shirt, the lightning bolt for it, for a couple of years. Then we had the yellow, the kit, the away kit we had for the double winning 98 team. Yellow with the navy blue trim and all that. And from that, I'm trying to think. After that went, what was the next one? Jesus Christ, I'm trying to think now. You got me thinking. What was after that? No, there was another yellow kit. Then we hit the 2000s. I'm trying to think now. We continued to have yellow kits until 2001, 2002. And yeah, that 2001, 2002 was the first time we stepped away from a yellow away kit for a while. Then we went gold. We had a gold away kit with blue, navy blue trim instead. And then we went from that to a full navy kit the following season, navy blue kit with red trim. Then we went to the 03-04 season, the Invincible season with the obviously the proper Arsenal yellow, blue collar, proper Arsenal blue collar as well, and all that. It was a homage to the 71 double winning team. It was a homage kit to that, basically. Ironically, 10 years later, from that, we had a homage kit to the Invincible team under Nike. But yeah, we didn't have the first white kit, from what I can make out, was 2008. Yeah, even like you say, your away kit this year has gone away from tradition as well, like the traditional colours. Ryan, what do you think of Solanke? Potential to be a Plan B striker? Might be a loan, but I think there's some potential. There's potential, but again, for me, I'd rather leave him at Bournemouth this season and see how he does at Bournemouth. And if he continues the form he had last season, basically into a Premier League season, then I'd seriously be okay with the club taking a look at him and bringing him in next summer. Because I don't want us to spend that sort of money, because they're in a Premier League club and all that, they're going to demand a certain fee because of how late it's in the window as well. I don't want us to sort of do all that, spend that sort of money, and it all backfire on us in terms of him going. Gakpo scored 2 excellent goals. They would love us to sign. I think we're still linked with him. I think we are genuinely looking at him. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap things up now. Another comment. In the 50s. That's before my time. If that's the case, that's well before my time. I have no idea. But yeah, Christ, professionalism. But hey, I'm going to wrap things up now, guys. You're not going to see me now until Monday night. On terms of this channel, you won't see me again on this channel until Monday night for the podcast reaction in terms of reacting to last night's game against Palace, with myself, Andrew, Ray, and Steve. Hopefully, we're all available. And anyone else, I need to reach out some people tomorrow morning and see who's available to come on guest and all that. But tomorrow I'll be over on Andrew's channel. I don't know what time yet. Need him to confirm that with me, actually. But I will be over on Andrew's channel tomorrow for this week's Q&As. He's hosting it this week on his channel, so go and check that out. Keep an eye on our social medias and all that. And once he's announced it and put it out himself, I will let you guys know. Find a community post for anyone that has got me on social media. So keep an eye out for that and give Andrew a Subway rate as well. But yeah, until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are in the world. And as always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you guys.